what if we just stopped all ads for one day? Because no one wants to be the one that gets left out. There actually might be a positive side to that fear sometimes.
I'm interested. Tell me why. Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome back to Chasing Me Podcast.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be able to, I talk to Alex all the time, but it's good to kind of divulge and deeper into specific topics together with her and then also with you as well. And on that note, so this week we are going to be talking quickly about the influence of marketing over ourselves, our lives, and how do you notice when you're being marketed to, or are you kind of just like oblivious to it? You're like, oh yeah, a candy bar must be nice. Like after you get served a candy bar ad, I don't know. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about this topic.
It's an exciting topic because we're going to break the veil for you guys.
Yeah, if you haven't broken it yourself. So yes, when I think about marketing and the influence it has on me, so like my job itself at the company that I work for, we do a lot of online marketing. So like we do sales marketing and we sell products online. So we do paid ads, we do the things, and I send emails. So I'm aware of some of the mechanics of the behind the scenes. But when I get served ads, I get marketed so much with, I don't want to say like they're ads though. So like news. This is mainly like news for me, but it influences like how I go about my day to day. So I get served a lot on YouTube, a lot of the like financial and investor YouTubers that I follow. And let's be honest, like recently with like the economy and everything going on, it just feels like all they talk about is like that we're in a recession or not. And I'm kind of getting sick and tired of it, like, let's be honest. But for me, what I realized is that there's a sense of fear-based news in that, like news or marketing. Like there's ways that marketing or news instills fear in you to either feel like you are not doing enough, or that you should do something else, or you need to make a better decision. And it constantly makes you feel like you need to question yourself, or that's me. I don't know. Like, do you ever, like, when you hear news or listen to the news, like, do you feel any kind of way about, oh, I need to go change this, or like, oh, I need to research more on this because, like, what if I'm doing something wrong? What if I'm investing my money wrong? Or what if I'm something like that? I don't know.
Not specifically that. I think that news tends to be more like negative in the sense that clearly everything that they cover is something bad that has happened, or something about another like political party that's doing this, and like there's this like negative connotation towards what they're suggesting, even if it's supposed to be unbiased news on a political, party member, or the way that they're going about their marketing and their strategy of their campaign, or even if it's covering like the Hawaii disaster that happened, the fire, like any natural, like I feel like every single topic nowadays, it could be about like environmentalists, it could be about food supply, it could be anything is up for grabs, and it's all typically how the world is ending. So, or how,
but no, that's so true, because when anybody hears the word recession, they're all like, oh my gosh, like it's such like a heavy word.
Yeah.
And for the last year, it's just been tossed around like, the weight of a word lessens every time it's used. Same way with like if you use, I was going to say love, but like, I hope if you love someone like that, but it's like, oh, I say I love my dog or cat the same way I love a person. Like the weight of words differs, but I think that's so true, because a lot of that is influenced by like the world and economics, and how one bad news article or something can like teeter this and teeter that, and like then it's just like a domino effect, and everything's like crumbling beneath us. And it's so funny though, because like I feel like as much as news sometimes is fear-based, like there actually might be a positive side to that fear sometimes.
I'm interested. Tell me why.
Because it does make, if you know yourself and what you want to achieve in the future, all it does is say like, hey, like maybe I should pay attention to this thing. And like, and it doesn't trick you. It entices you to maybe do some more research. If you do it just based out of like a reactionary fear, that's when it can get you in trouble. But if you know what you want and you take the time to do your own research, I think news can be good because it sheds light on things that you might have not seen otherwise.
Yeah.
But it was so funny, like real quick, I saw this, I was watching this documentary on YouTube recently. They were going through they were talking about all the like the bank collapse. But what they were talking about was how, and this is news, this is marketing, the whole time we were like locked down for COVID, they actually in the background of all of that, there was very large banks that were failing. And no one, the majority of people didn't realize this was happening because the government was bailing them out faster than the news could even break. And because they're like, oh, let's just focus on COVID. So all of this stuff like was going on financially in the background as the government was just printing money, putting it in your pocket and talking to you about COVID, while on the back end, they're also shoveling money into all these banks that are failing and all these institutions. And I was just like, that's the thing though. Like, it's good and bad news because it's like, they will show you exactly what they want to show you. But if you don't know what's going on behind the curtain or the veil, if you don't understand industries or economics and how things work and how, say, like this one news article, like they might be talking about oil, but that actually influences so many other things. If you can't like make those connections, like, or if you can, great. Like you can kind of take what they're saying and pull out all those like little details and like all those little crumbs that they leave to actually go and do your own research and like be knowledgeable of like why that might impact you, instead of being like, oh, the gas prices are too high. I'm like, I wonder why the gas prices are too high, because Russia and Ukraine are in a war and like these things are going on. Like, it's not just that the prices are high. Something impacted that made the prices high. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there, but
no, it's true. But on the other side of that is like, you know, the hurricane storm that we just recently had, right?
And we were at brunch the entire time. I'm not ashamed to say it. We're like, oh, do we stay home? And I was like, oh, it's just a little rain. And we're like, we'll monitor it. We ended up brunching the entire day.
And I think, though, that that's a perfect example because I went to the grocery store the day before the hurricane news. And my grocery store is small, but it's large enough where things shouldn't necessarily sell out. All the water was sold out. All like the canned foods were like starting to pile up, and people's baskets were insanely piled up as if they were spending like weeks upon weeks in their home or something. And I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Literally in mine, I was like, wine, some like regular food for the night. And I was like, I'll be fine.
And I don't want to take away from some of the areas in California that did get hit really hard.
True.
Like, we were fortunate we were down obviously in Long Beach, and the coastline, like, we didn't get hit because it kind of started to turn eastward.
Yes.
But the desert got hit pretty bad. So like there was parts of Southern California that got hit really, really hard. We just didn't buy out of fear. We bought out of maybe necessity, or just like, hey, like, you know, let's put some extra water. Like, I think I went and bought I just refilled my water jug that I had in the house. I just like made sure I just topped it off to make sure like I had a gallon of water. And
I filled up my Brita and that was it. I was like, I'll figure it out.
I filled up my Brita.
Yeah. I was like,
I have canned tuna, and I was like, I'll be fine.
I don't know. I guess like the more you start thinking about that news though, the more, and you see other people more or less panic buying, like I think that it does influence how you yourself consume or try and like also do something to do it, right? Like it's kind of like if everyone scurries and runs the other direction, which way are you going? With the crowd or against it and questioning it?
Because no one wants to be the one that gets left out.
Yeah.
That's the same way with, the Bitcoin thing and like everybody, let's be honest, like everybody thinks Bitcoin is probably a scam, but no one wants to be that person that doesn't have it 20 years from now when it's like the only currency. Do you know what I mean? So you buy, like, I don't have any right now, but it's
I
like,
don't have any.
I've thought about buying some because it's like, I don't want to be that person that like 20, 30 years down the line, like that's all we're using. It's like, oh, if I just made this one decision back then and like, no, I don't want to say like listen to people, but it's like, yeah, that's me. Like no one wants to be that person that is left in the dust. No one wants to miss that investment opportunity. No one wants to miss these things that seem so easy to understand and get a hold of. But where there's opportunities over here for other people, there's opportunities somewhere else for you that are yours. Like, and I think it just, I said I wasn't going to talk about money or investing, but I think that is what investing at its core is like, do the things that you understand. Mm-hmm. You can make just as much money if you understand real estate or other industries, and you could forget about Bitcoin and probably be just as rich as they are. You know what I mean? And that's just a choice, though. You either can follow the crowd, but you don't want to get left behind. I don't know. And that's what marketing is. That's what marketing for social media is.
Yes.
Oh, you don't have the new handbag? You don't have the new Gucci slides? I think are a thing.
They are
Gucci
a thing.
slides.
Yeah.
So news and fear-based was kind of one I want to talk about. But I think we wanted to also dive into.
Well, no, I think that leads us to a good point, which is, when you break your own veil of understanding that you're being fed a narrative, and a narrative that is very curated to what they want you to either consume, but purchase, talk about, like if an advertisement does one thing and it really is just like have a bad reaction to it, like it's still being talked about, right? Mm-hmm. So any marketing at the end of the day is good marketing, unfortunately, whether or not it is a good narrative or bad narrative.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're Bud Light, I mean, they really screwed up. I'm sorry. That one was pretty.
But people are still talking about it.
They're talking about it, but their sales are like 25% of what they were. So
that's true.
I mean, maybe it's a long-term play. I don't know.
Well,
anyways, we don't need to go into
I don't
that.
think they're buying that, but they have other stakes in other companies now.
I mean, I don't know their entire portfolio, so.
I would assume, saying that they're a very major conglomerate of alcohol, beer.
I don't know. I'm going to research that now when I go home. Like, what does Bud Light own? Well, Budweiser, they have more, but.
I feel like if one person doesn't choose that one, they're choosing the other one in spite of it, and probably the way that they've advertised in the past, which is like, are you on this team or on this team? You know what I mean? Like, then they're going to just choose the other team, even though it's within the same company. So.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, anyways, good marketing, bad marketing.
The things that you think that you're doing to try and avoid giving money to the company that you don't like, most likely is feeding them indirectly at times because they own majority of their competition as well sometimes.
Well, it's like, I know people who are like, oh, I hate Jeff Bezos and Amazon or whatever, Tesla and like Elon Musk. And I'm like, do you have an Amazon account? They're like, yeah. I was like, you're allowing him to buy his yacht. Like, that's all you're doing.
That's so true.
That is what, like, when you talk about like the marketing and the economics of it all, it's like when you buy a product like that, like you are just putting that money in their pocket. Like that is what it is. Like, as much as you're like, oh, but I can't live without my 2 days or same day delivery. It's like, well, you should be thanking Jeff Bezos for that one. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's just how it is. So
it is a very interesting, like, landscape when you are thinking about this and you have the awareness around the marketing that is in your everyday life, because even like Apple, if you own all the Apple things, right? Like, they'll market to you without you even understanding that they're marketing to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that having that awareness is a good thing, but at times it can be very detrimental, because at times you're just like, is the world just out to always get you in some way, right? Like, they're always trying to get something from you, or they're trying to get you to do something. Are you like, you're too aware, you're too hyper in this conversation in your head. And at times I feel like, if I'm on YouTube and I notice an ad that I'm like, oh, I wonder like how that business like got started. And then I start like my little like little narrative in my own head of what's going on here. Like, how did this person get this ad, and are they making money, or is it just they're feeding into YouTube and giving them more money? And right, like, there's just so much unknown, but also like awareness within my own landscape of understanding the marketing realm. And my background within furniture and fashion hasn't really influenced me too much, but more so I think we talked about the seasonalities of marketing, and how it's kind of this loop of, if it's
like,
not one season, it's then the next season. And
like, it's not even, I was telling Alex, it's like, it wasn't even, it was like a couple weeks ago when the hurricane, I think it was the week that the hurricane almost blew in, I was up at Home Depot, and it was like mid-August. They already had Halloween items in the store.
Which has always been the case. I remember it's been like early, but it kept getting earlier and earlier and earlier.
Oh yeah.
So at one point it's just gonna be year round, maybe.
And it's like the second September 1st hits, it's like Halloween and Christmas. Just blows right through it. It's like you got your pumpkin spice lattes, you got your...
But do you think that because everything's on sale, like, do you actually think that you get a deal? Like,
oh no. Just because it says sale, you're actually probably not getting a deal. That is marketing and advertising in itself, is that they wanted to sell it at $182. Say like it's a blow up Halloween skeleton for your front lawn. They say, oh, it's on sale for $175. They wanted to sell it for $175. But guess what? They like do this strike through, and it's like $200. Oh, look, you save $25 if you buy right now. But all they wanted to do is sell it to you at $175, because they're still making a margin off that. Like, and that's usually when like you see a brand new product and it's already on sale. Like, that's usually the case, is like they're trying to get you to purchase out of a little bit of fear. Like, there might not if you want it, there might not be that much inventory left, because usually sale items are like the last of the last.
Yeah.
Typically, or that's how we've been trained. So people can do that. It's a marketing tactic at the end of the day.
Yeah.
To do it, oh, it's so enticing, strike through, like you save money. And it's like, no, you didn't.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit scary when you start to really think about it. And yeah, I think that, do you lose, I have a question, right?
Okay.
Do you think that you lose your bit of like childlike joy within seasons when you start to think about the mechanics behind the marketing?
I mean, when you see behind any veil, no matter, I feel like, what it is, you lose this sense of, what's the correct word? You say childlike, but it's like this, the sense of innocence.
The innocence.
To anything. Like, once you know, it's you can't unknow. You just can't. That's just impossible. So, but I do, even as an adult, like, I miss having my like fall season before Halloween hit, or like September through October. I want it to just be fall, and I want to enjoy that. Then Thanksgiving, I have 1 month to like be really thankful for my family and the things, and then I have a month of Christmas. I don't want Christmas in September. I don't want to skip the things. I think we try so hard to skip through seasons so quickly, because all that these businesses want is to make the most money that they can from your pocket. But the problem is, I get it.
As a
I
business,
get it.
as a business entrepreneur yourself.
Yes, we have sales. Like we have sales goals at our business that we need to hit for these months. We have. I'm like, I have to sell this many units of this product, and if we don't, guess what? My job potentially is on the line. Like, there's repercussions if these businesses don't make sales or don't move inventory. So, because I know, I get it. Like, I get it. But this is a whole bigger conversation about like corporate greed. But because I don't believe we need all the things that we need. Like, that's just consumerism though, as a whole.
I do agree.
And on that note, I found this stat this morning and I want to share it with you because we were talking about advertising. And I was kind of like just like researching some topics and like whatever we were going to do today. And I had this thought that just like crossed my mind. I'm like, what if we just stopped all ads for one day? And I was like, one, I was curious on how I would feel. Two, I was like, how much money is that? So I found a couple stats. And in 2020, $250 billion were spent on advertisement in that year. $150 billion in 2021 was on internet ads alone. So that is your webpage ads, the things that you see, like the credit cards advertising to you, all that kind of stuff. $153 billion on internet ads alone in 2021. And on average, that calculated out to $490 million a day of advertisements. $419 million every single day. I think I said 90.
You said 90.
419. I did the math. $1 million. That's a lot of money. That also goes to show you just how much a billion is.
Yes.
We forget how much a billion is. It's like 1,000 of a million, something like that. Anyways, 100 of a million. Anyways, so I was just like, oh my God, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And that's like divided up by all the companies. Yeah. And just like advertising on blogs, advertising on YouTube, advertising on, oh my gosh, like what if we just, and it's only increasing. That was in 2021. And it's only increasing because guess what? Because these big companies have, like, every year, all they do is increase their sales targets. You know what that means? More targeted ads to you, because all they need you to do, they need you to buy more. So they're going to advertise to you more. And it's just this endless loop. And I think the United States has the largest advertising budgets out of the entire world. Like, I think Canada, I saw a stat, was like only 11 billion, like for the year. Yeah. Or like something like that. It was like a quarter or a fourth of the size as the advertising budgets in the US. And you wonder why we're all broke.
We're in debt.
Anyways, I thought that was a fascinating stat.
That is.
Like $419 million a day businesses are pumping out to advertise to you. Billboards, they're doing it on the internet daily. They're doing it on, oh my gosh. You
are
crazy.
Continuously being influenced. Yeah. Whether you know it or not. And hopefully by knowing it, it can maybe make you more conscious of like how you step, like your next step throughout the day. Because if you're somebody who doesn't want to like contribute to the consumerism, I think, as much as others do, you do need to be aware. And I think that's a part of it. And even though you lose your innocence towards it, hopefully if you have children or if you're trying to give others the joyous innocence that you once had, you're still able to do it in a more curated way that feels more organic and that feels more maybe like how you want to see it. Because I think that that's what's important, is like not being too influenced enough where you're just over consuming and have all these things. And to me, it's so fascinating. I feel like I need to do more research on this, which is just like public storage units and how most likely people have literally storage units for their things.
the store, I don't know this off the top of my head. I feel like I should just Google right now. It's like what the storage industry is valued at. It's probably in the billions. All right, we'll just do the global one. The self-storage market size is estimated at $58.2 billion in 2023 and is expected to grow to 72 by 28.
Wow.
That's global. And guess what? I could probably guess 75% of that's in the United States.
Probably. Probably. This is your opportunity to buy land and put
And
storage.
build a storage unit. I've thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't have the capital for that. But
for those who do, who listen, do this.
But I don't, like, I'm a consumer.
Yeah.
I need to go buy a new car. I need to, my phone's not the oldest of phones. It's, I think, an 11, which is technically the 15's about to come out. So it's like going to be super outdated here in a second. But it's like, I'm a consumer too. Like, we just went to this like nice little lavender night event. It was like a farm, and like, I bought things I probably didn't need. But guess what? I do that 3 times a year versus 5 times a month. You know, it's like that was a special occasion. Like, that was a special thing. I got some nice, like,
but it's also a small business. So do you consider it being different if it's a small business versus a major conglomerate?
There's probably more of me that wanted to support them because it's like farm ground. It's a farm. It made me feel that tractor, man. That tractor really. They had this tractor it was like carting people around, and it was like kind of like a hayrack ride. It was super cute, and maybe I felt nostalgic, and maybe that's it. I would rather spend my money there. At that point, can you call it a small business? It's a mid-sized business. It's like, because they probably ship a bunch of their stuff around.
I actually don't know.
No. Anyways.
It's a Southern Californian farm.
It's a lavender farm.
Yeah.
That we went to, like, the lavender night lights thing, and it was such a cute event, and it only happens for like a month or 2 out of the year, and yeah, they have beautiful lavender products, and I just wanted to support, and I think, it's like I'm not going to go back there and get them.
No,
maybe until next year.
It's like 2 hours away from us.
Way too long. Way too long. Anyways, it was fun, but like, I don't want to say consuming is bad. We are just in such a bad loop of corporate profits needing to go up, so people have to consume more, and I don't know.
No, I agree. I also don't consume all that much. I don't think. I feel like it's like it takes me to the very last minute that is I need something new, or it's really worn out, because one, I just don't see the need to own that much stuff. I'm like, I don't want more things to clean, to wash. Like, like, if you actually want to maintain the things that you have, you need to take care of them. If you have less things, there's less to take care of.
You definitely don't consume on items, like things.
No.
I
consume on experiences.
Travel.
Yes.
She will spend on traveling.
And food.
And
experiences.
Food is, food is a decent one to spend on. If you have the money, like, eating out, it's nice every once in a while. Anyways, marketing and how it influences you is, we all experience it differently. And I hope that maybe one of our experiences has enlightened you. If you liked what you heard today as well, please like and subscribe this video. And let us know in the comments what you maybe experience when it comes to advertising, because we gave you our 2 cents, and you know where I stand. So
we would love to hear from you, and thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.